Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we are looking at our Kuat Transfer V2 bike rack here on our 2021 Honda CR-V. Now the Kuat Transfer is an awesome bike rack if you are looking for something that has pretty good weight capacity, can fit into different size hitches, but my favorite part about it is how easy it is to mount and to dismount your bikes. So one of its features is that this can tilt away, and to do so, you'll have to press on this lever and just tilt it down. So let's see how this works. Just press that button and this will lift straight up. You can see how it does kind of come close to our bike there, but there is clearance between our door and our handlebars, allowing us to get into our trunk, grab whatever we need without having to take the bike off. Now, if you do have a little bit longer handlebars than what I have here, you may have to take your bike off for this feature, but that's okay because it's actually a pretty easy process just to take that off. Okay, let's talk about how this fits into our system or onto our rack. We have one wheel strap here in the back, and here in the front, we have this front wheel clamp. That's really nice because I have a carbon frame bike right here, so then I don't have to worry about my clamp warping my frame. But if you also have other types of bikes, like your women's bikes, your children's bikes, or your step-through bikes, that front wheel clamp is very useful. So when you want to take your bike off, you just press this button over here, lift up on that strap, and then come over to the front. Make sure to hold on to your bike as you do so. Press this button. I have it really tight since I want to make sure it's fully clamped down, so you may have to put a little bit of extra pressure onto that button, just like that. Then hold on to your bike, lift up, push that clamp out, and then you are ready to go on a bike ride. With that bike out of the way, let's take a closer look at the bike rack itself. So here in the back we have this rear cradles, and these can accommodate different tire widths. You have your smaller grooves for your smaller tires, and the cradle can accommodate up to 5 inches. As is, it only can accommodate 3 inches wide tires, so you're gonna have to pick up that extra strap adapter if you have fat tire bikes. So this strap comes down and just ratchets down on both sides to secure that wheel. Here in the front, we have this front wheel clamp. I talked about how useful it was, and you also have this lining on the inside just to help with your tire. It may be kind of hard to get a good fit sometimes, so you really have to ratchet down to secure that front wheel. And then this folds down to be into a nice compact position. Now, when you are carrying around a bike rack, there is some like that into the back of your vehicle. So let's take some measurements to see exactly how much. So from the rear bumper of our CR-V to the end of the bike rack, it sits at 36.5 inches. So that's a fair amount of length for a 2 bike rack. It's a little bit out there, so you're gonna have to keep that length in mind when you are backing into your garage or trying to park into a really tight spot. Another thing you can take a look at is the ground clearance. So of course this depends on where your hitch is, but measuring from underneath the bike rack to the ground, we have 18 inches of height. As for here where that shank is, we have it at 12.25 inches. So that's slightly low to the ground, still something to keep in mind when you are going up a steep incline like a driveway, or if you're going up a hill. Another thing you can do with this is that you can fold this up to be a little bit more portable. So you're gonna press on that lever, lift that bike rack up, and this folds up against your CR-V. So some measurements here is length. Now that it's folded up, measuring from our rear bumper, the furthest point is by that foot lever, and it's gonna be 14 inches. Big difference compared to when this was folded down. You definitely want in this position when you are driving around town. Another thing to note here is closest point between our bike rack and our vehicle. So the hitch on the CR-V sticks out a little bit, so you're gonna get a lot of distance between those two. Exactly 5.5 inches, so no worries at all about any contact with the vehicle or the bike rack. Another thing to note here on our CRV is our taillights are lifted, which means they're completely clear with the bike rack folded up. You also have this U or goal post design, so that's where your backup camera is, as well as your license plate. So since this is open, you're not going to have to worry too much about obstruction of view of your camera or your license plate, which is awesome. That's kind of my favorite part about this whole thing. Let's also talk about how this fits into our hitch. This version has an 1.25" shank with a 2-inch hitch adapter, which is why this has a 40-pound weight capacity per bike. If you want a little bit more weight capacity, you're going to have to look for the 2-inch solid shank version of the Kuat Transfer, and that will give you 60-pound weight capacity per bike. It comes with a hitch pin and a clip, and this uses a security wrench. I'm not the hugest fan of it, but you just use that tool to tighten it down, and that creates an anti-rattle effect. So with that tightened down, as I shake this to simulate road stress and vibration and sway, I'm mainly moving the vehicle at this point, and that shows that if there is any vibration, it's from the road and not from the bike rack, creating a smoother ride for your bicycles. Another thing to note with it folded up like this is how you can step on that lever right here as you hold your bike. Just step on that lever and drop this down so that you don't have to worry about holding two things at the same time. All right, my final thoughts about this bike rack is I really like how it works with our CRV. Everything is open. I'm not covering anything with that goal post design. It also looks really good here on our Honda, and that nice minimalistic look works really well. So that was a look at the Kuat Transfer V2 bike rack here on our 2021 Honda CRV.